Now is our time for meditation. So I invite you to get things out of your lap and get those feet firmly planted on the floor. We'll be taking some deep breaths. I invite you to, with your left hand, tap your heart center 3 times. With your right hand, tap your crown chakra at the top of your head. We're just going to wake up our energy centers this morning. And as we breathe and settle in our energy, we just allow those shoulders to relax. Let the chair support you. There's no place you have to be, nothing you have to do now, but be present here. Breathing in that beautiful breath of God and breathing out. Feeling yourself relax. I invite you to see that breath going in and out of your heart space now. As you bring into mind something, someone, some situation that makes you feel absolute love, unconditional love. Whether it's a spouse, a partner, a friend, a child, a grandchild, a pet. Something that when you think about it, your heart wells up. You feel it in your energy, the love that you have for this one, and how you feel when you're in the energy. And you keep breathing in and out, seeing that love light, that pink, beautiful love light expanding, filling your whole body cavity now with pink love light. And now I invite you to raise your hands in a blessing position and see the earth the size of a little ball. And your hands like flashlights as you breathe in and breathe that pink love light down from your heart through your hands. And bless our earth, bless our planet. Send your love light energy to every sentient being on the planet. Sending your love and peace and joy and all the things that we know that we are, until you can just imagine every being with a smile on their face, receiving and accepting our gift that we're sending this morning. Feel what joy it is to share from that place of the love that you are, the love that you came here to be. And now I invite you to lower your hands as if you're sending any excess energy of love to our planet, to our Mother Earth, to our planetary home, blessing all the ways in which it is bubbling and struggling and all the things that it's going through now. Send your love light through your hands to Mother Earth. And now rest your hands back in your lap. And any remaining energy that you might have left over, I invite you to share with your family. Share with the ones that you love. Share with your own body, your own self, your own beingness. And know that in your heart of hearts, you already know that all is truly well. All is well within our soul. We claim that right here and right now. And for this peace that we feel, for the love that we know we are, we say thank you, indwelling Spirit, For we know that we can go to this place anytime and re-experience that love and sharing our love with all of the ones that we care about. And so we bring our focus now back into this room. We say thank you, indwelling Spirit, for this sweet time of remembrance. And whenever you're ready, just open your beautiful eyes. One of my dear friends from Texas sent me an email, and it had a couple of stories in it. It had many stories in it, but there are a couple of them that I want to share today. One of them is so good for this particular weekend. It's a gentleman telling a story about how he had done a 72-hour shift in the fire station and had stopped by the grocery store, and some strange woman ran up to him and threw her arms around him, and I guess she felt him tense up, and so she backed away, and with tears in her eyes and this gigantic smile on her face, she said, "Maybe you don't remember me, but you carried me out of the World Trade Center 20 years ago." I was married to a fireman most of my life, and I can tell you, they see and experience things that it's hard to talk about. And I know policemen and all the first responders, you know, went through so much on that fateful day and experienced it and felt it, even though they may not have been there. There's such a brotherhood in the work that they do in helping so many people. May we, even in the face of this tragedy, see something good had to come from all of that, because you remember how people united and came together after that. It was an unreal sort of thing, how we came together in unity. And some days it feels like we've taken a few steps back from that and are starting over again. But anyway, there was divine order in all of that. And I just had to share that story. There's still lots of mixed emotions around this anniversary. So we're creating harmony today using our power of divine order. So we have an affirmation. Let's say it together. Order is the outgrowth of our complete agreement and cooperation with spiritual law. So the other story that my friend sent me is this gentleman who's telling his story. He says, "I woke up at 7 a.m. this morning. I didn't feel well, but I didn't want to miss work because I need the money, so I went to work. 3 p.m. I got laid off. So I got in my car, I started to head home, and I had a flat tire. So then I go to get my spare, and my spare is flat. And I'm standing on the side of the road going, what is going on?" And this gentleman drives up. He's got this nice BMW car. And he comes over to him and offers him a ride. And so they had a chat. And at the end of the ride, the guy offers him this magnificent job. He said, "I start tomorrow." When we are in the flow, when we are allowing divine order to flow through our lives and not show resistance, things work out the way they're supposed to work out without us resisting and struggling, you see. Other people, Sam had an issue with his car this morning. He said, "Last time it happened to me, I was screaming and hollering and carrying it on, and today I was just like, oh, okay." It's consciousness. It's where are you in your consciousness to be able to allow the flow of God in your life, no matter what the appearance is. It's about not resisting, isn't it? And just letting things happen. So you take a wrong turn. You get to see things you haven't seen before, right? It's all about your attitude, isn't it? I loved the guy's attitude. He just kind of kept going, and then look, he ended up with a much better job in a much better place. So our co-author, Charles Fillmore, in his book, 12 Powers of Man, says, man can never exercise dominion until he knows who and what he is. And knowing brings forth that knowledge into the external by exercising it in divine order, which is mind, idea, manifestation, which is our creative process, which is what we are doing all the time. But there is this traditional aspect of divine order that people think of as this God separate from us sitting up in the sky ordering our lives, you see, ordering what we're supposed to be doing. That totally gives up our power. It's giving our power away. And this is what I like so much about unity, is that we don't see it that way. We see God in us, as us, and through us. So Charles Fillmore was talking about this idea that is a set order for our lives and that all of our activities are governed by it. But this isn't an enlightened view. The one of the traditional view leaves us feeling disempowered, you see. That's why when we understand what Fillmore is saying, divine order is that orderly sequence by which everything comes into existence. Mind, idea, expression is our Father, Son, Holy Spirit. That's our Trinity. That's how we speak about the Trinity, because we are of one mind. Mind, and then we get an idea, and then we figure out how to carry it forth. We listen to our divine guidance, and we move forward, and we bring things into manifestation. We do that over and over and over again every single day. Whether you decide you're having a turkey sandwich, you know, it takes this orderly sequence of things. You go into the kitchen, you find the things, you make. Every single thing you do has something to do with divine order. And so this mind, idea, expression is your opportunity to pay attention to what is it that you are manifesting in your life. What is it that you are bringing forth? We receive ideas all the time because we are one with God mind. But sometimes we'll get an idea like, oh, I should call so-and-so, and we don't follow through. And then we find out they were in the hospital and really could have used a call or something like that. We go, oh, no, I'll do that later, and then we don't do it. We don't follow through. And so divine order says, you know, follow your guidance. You get an idea in your mind, you're a powerful being, follow through on it. Something good will come from that. This is what I love so much about unity and new thought. I am responsible for my life. I can't blame anybody else. If I don't like what I'm seeing going on in my life, then I need to quit the stinking thinking, don't I? I need to pay attention to what I'm thinking about, what I'm saying. What is my consciousness? Where am I acting from? Am I acting from my Christed beingness or not? None of us are victims. Neither are you, all of us. We have to work these principles. We have to work these principles, and these spiritual laws, they will work for us. So today we're in Psalms. We're in the Old Testament today because there's this beautiful scripture, 139, verse 11 and 12, where the psalmist is speaking of God, and it says, "If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and the light around me become night. Even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as the day, for darkness is as light to you." What is that all about? Well, you know, we don't look at the Bible literally. We look at the Bible metaphysically. So we look at the meaning underneath that. In practical spirituality, what this means to me is that the light of order, the light of wisdom, of the divine permeates everything. So whenever there's darkness, there's also light. Because this is principle one in unity, which is God is. God is all there is in every moment. So even when it appears like what we're seeing is chaos all around us. God is in the midst of that as well. There is light in the darkness, whether we can see it or not, or whether we choose to watch the TV and let our energy be sucked down the drain. That's our choice. We have free will. We can go with that energy, or we can see everything from a higher perspective, from our Christ consciousness. The presence of God is available in every situation all the time. Even in these challenging times, there is possibility for transformation. And don't you believe that is what's happening? We are like cocooning, ready for these butterflies to emerge from something more beautiful than what we've had before. Reverend John Paul Roach was a friend of mine. He was a minister that retired from Fort Worth, the Unity Ministry in Fort Worth. And he tells a story about when he was in his 20s and he was hitchhiking through Germany. In the 70s, you could do that safely. Maybe now, not so much. But he was hitchhiking, and this professor from one of the colleges there in Munich pulled over and offered him a ride and was kind enough to take him to lunch, and they had a really nice conversation. Then he took him back to where he needed to go. But while they were sitting there having lunch, Reverend Paul saw this thing on the wall, this plaque that this guy had in his dining room, and it says, "Chaos is an order we do not yet understand." Are you with me? I don't understand. I can't explain to you what is going on or why it is going on, but can we hold with each other that God is in the midst of this too, and that something wonderful is going to unfold if we just continue to hold the high watch, continue to practice our teachings and our spiritual principles. He said he was intrigued by this thing. He could not get that phrase out of his mind because it spoke not only, he said, to the limitations of human knowledge and understanding, but to the idea that even what seems arbitrary and chaotic could be part of some greater universal order and harmony. And it stuck with him. It stuck with him all of his life. So I like to think we choose hope. We choose to live from that place of knowing and remembering that God is in the midst of everything. I think that when we perceive what is going around us right now, and that same idea that in our human minds we may not be able to make sense of anything, especially the struggles on our planet, but with faith and trust in divine order, we can know at the deepest core of our being that all is truly well. And that attitude, you see, that's what's helping us create harmony. Because we're above it. We're not sitting around droning and complaining and whining about how bad everything is. I don't know about you, but I can't be in that energy. I just kind of like start excusing myself because it sucks my energy dry when I get in around people that want to whine and complain about how bad everything is. It is if you choose to judge it in that way, you see. It's a choice. Free will. Free will. So, Sharon Connors, who wrote Adventures in Resilience, I love the tagline of her book. It's Ignite the 12 Powers to Create a Radiant Life. So I've been using it. I'll be using it all through our year because we're talking about the 12 powers. This is what she says about divine order. She says, when invoked in faith, will order the circumstances of your life in the most astounding ways. You can use it like a mantra, like, I choose divine order, right? You can use it like a mantra when things are challenging, there's difficulties, confusion, a lack of clarity, and things will begin to right themselves when you call it forth. A door will open, a solution will be found. Working with this energy of divine order is disciplining not only the mind, but the choices and our actions as well. It orders our priorities in such a way that we begin to see more clearly that our spiritual fitness has to come first. Because when we are spiritually fit, we are more able to receive that divine guidance. It's trying to get through to us. It's tapping, tapping, tapping until you get the 2x4, or the cosmic 2x4. You know, you keep ignoring it, you're going to get it some way or other, so you might as well wake up, pay attention, follow through. I want to be spiritually fit, don't you? I want to be in a good place to be able to move through whatever this is that we're going through. So I've been contemplating this last week. So what does that mean to be spiritually fit? And how can I create more harmony in my life? And so I came up with Donna's top 10 ways. Okay? Remember, like they used to have it on the talk show at night, right? I came up with Donna's top 10 ways to create harmony in your life. Number 1, and this is nothing new. These are all things you already know. It's just practices to remember. Number 1, don't judge others. We're here to witness and observe only, and hold sacred space for and bless others, right? Number 2, find the peace within no matter what the appearance is out here. And I can tell you the only way I can do that is I do an hour every morning before I leave my house of journaling and meditation and prayer. You've got to do your practices before. Number 3, don't jump to conclusions or assume anything. You know what your mind does. You don't know the answer, so you make up some crazy story to fill it in. Now, don't assume. Well, if you're going to assume the best. Don't spiral down and assume the worst. Number 4, this is easier said than done. Find one good thing in every person who pushes your buttons. Okay? So you get these people in your life, it's like fingernails on the chalkboard. Every time you get in their energy, you're like, oh, here they come again. Oh, you know? We all have that. We have those people in our lives, whether they're family members or whether they're people that we work with or whatever. So what do? You find one good thing and you love and you bless that thing on them. Number 5, do more of what you love and limit doing those things that feel like obligations. Because that is what brings your energy down, right? Do more of what you love. Do what makes your heart sing. Number 6, every day count your blessings and be grateful for every single thing that you have. If you don't do that before you go to sleep, I mean, it will really improve your dream life. If you can express gratitude for that day and everything that you are grateful for. Number 7, find a way to serve others. It doesn't have to be big stuff. It can be small, like yesterday. My son and I were out doing a little shopping, and he was hungry. We stopped by Jersey Mike's, and there was almost no one there, and then, I don't know, this is what we say always happens. We come, and then all of a sudden now there's a whole huge crowd, so everybody has to get their mask on now. But anyway, the staff is so nice and everything, so we're getting ready to leave, and my son says to the people there, he says, you know, thank you for smiling and being kind and making this a sweet experience. And you should have seen their faces. They were all just beaming. Doesn't take much to uplift other people. You can do it to the Walmart greeters, right? Do it for them. Number 8, explore your creative side more often. Those outlets make us happy. I'm an adult coloring book girl. You wouldn't even know that. I love to do things like that. Get out that guitar, that harmonica, that flute, whatever it is that you like. Do those creative things. Sing like nobody's watching. Dance like nobody's watching. Number 9, spend as much time in nature as you can. Breathe. Remember to breathe in the nature into your body. That's how I feel most normal. I don't know about you, but getting out and digging in the weeds and pulling weeds and things like that. Number 10, be kind and nurture yourself. You are love, and you are loved beyond comprehension. You don't even know how much you're loved, but you are. So, there's a story in the 12 Powers in You. It's called First Things First. And it's about a teacher who really wanted to honor the seniors in her class. And so she heard about this lady. Her name is Halise Bridges. She's of California. And where you pass on a ribbon that says, "Who I am makes a difference." It's a blue ribbon that's gold letters on it. And we did this back in my previous ministry. I think I still have mine that someone gave me. And so the idea was she'd give it to the seniors, and then they would have an extra one, and they would pass it on to somebody. So some of the teachers, some of their friends, some of their parents. But this one particular guy in her class, one of the seniors, took the blue ribbon to his boss, who is unseasonably grouchy a lot of the time. Kind of a grouchy guy. But he was really making an effort, right? He's looking for that one good thing. So he gives his boss, and the guy was touched. He was absolutely touched. I'm sure it changed his energy and changed his life. And then the gentleman thought about it, and he thought, you know, I haven't been very present for my son. He's been more and more distant. He has this teenager at home, so he carries the extra blue ribbon to give to his child, and he gets home and he knocks on the door and he says, "Yeah." You know, he's a teenager. "Yeah." And he can't imagine what his father wants because he hasn't seen much of him lately. And so he goes in and he says, "You know, I want you to know that even though I haven't been around here, you are so important, and who you are makes a difference in my life. And I gave him the ribbon and said, I just want you to know I love you so much." And this teenage boy broke down into tears, sobbing, uncontrollable sobbing. And finally, he's able to compose himself, and he said, "Dad, that means so much to me." He said, "I was actually contemplating suicide tomorrow because I didn't think you loved me." What you do makes a difference. And First Things First is about getting your house in order, getting your people in your immediate circle, getting right with people. And then you take it out to the next level and to the next level. And let people know who makes a difference in your life. We are all ministers to each other. You may not think of yourself as a minister, but every single one of us are ministering to each other by how we show up, how we talk to people, how we act, how we think about people, how we pray for others. We are all ministers. One of the ways that I have found to be able to do this work in these increasingly interesting times is by being able to, in my own beingness, reconcile the darkness and the light, the anger and the joy, the order and the chaos. Reconcile it within myself and be okay with it. Be okay, be able to witness somebody's grief, but not go there myself, but be able to hold that high watch, that sacred space for people. That's what we're called to do right now, to be kind and loving. In spite of horror, we can find compassion. Okay, it's time for a joke. Enough preaching. So there's this couple, and they love to go to the carnival every year, Larry and Anna. And he always wants to ride on this airplane thing, this airplane ride where it does all these flips and stuff. But every year, Anna says, "No, it's too expensive. You know, $10 is $10. And so finally, Tom, the pilot, overhears this conversation. He says to them, he says, "Okay, folks, I have a proposition for you. How about if I take you up in my airplane and I do all those flips and you don't say a word, I'll give you the ride for free." And they thought about it and they said, "Well, that's a deal we can't refuse." So they got on the ride, and that's exactly what Tom does. He flips and does all these things with this airplane, and then he comes down to the ground and he said, "I thought you'd say something on that very first flip." And Larry replied, "I was going to say something when Anna fell out, but $10 is $10. Oh, well. I want to close today with our co-founder, Charles Fillmore. In his book, Jesus Christ Heals, had something very sweet to say about order. So let us begin anew and lay down the law of order in all that we do. If there is this tendency to hurry, let us stop and affirm divine order and rest ourselves in its poise. Geologists tell us that our world has been whirling around the sun for over 500 million years. So you see, there's no reason to hurry. Remember that you live in eternity now. You're going to come back and keep doing this thing over and over again until you get it right. This thought of omnipresent eternity will alleviate nervous tension. Put every thought and act under the divine law. Even if you think you're going to miss a car, don't hurry. Another car will be right along, and if your mind is in divine order, it will be your car, you see. That's how it all works. So I invite you today to go forth creating harmony, claiming divine order in your life every step of the way. God bless. Thank you. Now is a time in our service when we get to have an opportunity to give from our good back into the community. So I invite you to take your offerings and tithes in your hand. And if you're watching on internet later today, I invite you to use the PayPal button or the Breeze link, and we'll bless these tithes and offerings together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, that this is so. And so it is, and so we claim it. Namaste.